So, Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is me, Muhtaba Manwara, and I'm a student at Rehan School Online Academy. So, welcome to my show, Inspiring Minds, where I will try to inspire my guest. And today I have a very special guest in my studio, and she is Rania Lampou from Greece. And let's welcome Miss Rania Lampou in our studio. So, hello, ma'am. How are you today?
Good morning, here from Greece, from Athens. I'm very, very excited for today. And I'm sure that we will have a very constructive discussion. I would like to warmly thank you for the kind invitation. And also, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations for the amazing work that Dr. Rihan is doing in your school. I'm collaborating a lot with the students of your institution, and I know that you are doing incredible work, bringing together experts from different countries and promoting global collaborations, partnerships, and innovation above all.
Okay, thank you so very much for coming in my uh, interview show, and thank you so very much. So, uh, let's start this our interview with some questions. So, first of all, can you tell me that what awards have you received as a global educator?
Okay, I have received so far over 200 awards, and how this started. The first awards came from my participation in a very pioneering program, which was organized by CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. The program was called Playing with Protons, and it was about teaching particle physics to primary school students. So the project of students were awarded in an international competition organized by CERN, first among 17 countries. So it was the first award. Then came another one, another European competition also about 3D printing. And this award gave us an Ultimaker Plus 3D printer. So it was one of the first public schools in Greece which had actually a 3D printer, thanks to this award. And after some other here, I got also Education Leaders Awards here in Greece. It is a national competition on STEM and on innovation, gold and silver in these two categories. And after 2019, it was a very important for me a distinction that I was awarded as among the best 50 teachers in the world by Farke Foundation. After this Global Teacher Award, 3 consecutive years. And since then, I receive constantly new awards and new recognitions for me. And this is the reason why I keep, I'm motivated and I'm continuing my work, and especially my volunteering work and humanitarian work.
Wonderful, great. So, what subjects do you teach as a STEM instructor?
Okay, first we need to clarify to our audience what is STEM. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. This represents a broad field of education and career paths that focus on critical thinking, problem solving, and innovation. I'm focusing actually on astronomy because I'm collaborating with the Greek Astronomy Space Company here in Greece, organizing many events, many STEM workshops for adults and for the students also, for younger children. And also collaborating with the Lampou Society. So physics experiments is another part of my life. But I want to say that when we talk about STEM, it's a holistic approach. It's a transdisciplinary approach, which includes all the fields at the same time. I mean, if an educator wants to implement one project in STEM, then you should include two or more of these cognitive disciplines, two or more subjects. I mean, you involve engineering in one project. For example, if we ask our students to create a maquette for a colony on Mars using robotics, here you will use engineering because they have to create a maquette which is solid, etc. You will use astronomy because students should know through science what are the conditions on Mars, what are kind of materials they're going to use to create all this maquette. You will use, of course, technology because you need to program, you need to use coding and programming in order to make all this spaceship or spacecraft move. So everything, mathematics also, because programming, you can't be expert in programming without know mathematics. And arts at the same time, that's why we talk about STEAM is the new trend in education now, arts, because you need to do aesthetically nice your construction. So actually, we can't say that we teach isolated one subject, one field, but in one project you combine two or more disciplines. And this is the amazing thing with STEM, which is a transdisciplinary approach. It combines all of these fields. So for me, mostly astronomy and physics, but as I said before, it's holistic because you include also arts and engineering and technology.
Great. So, ma'am, now tell me that how did you become a multi-awarded global educator?
Yes, I mentioned before about the awards and about my participation in this program, I mean, program of CERN. And after this, I started to write some international projects which are addressed to mostly to poor children and the privileged children who are coming from low socioeconomic backgrounds. First in Greece, I was teaching as a volunteer to refugees. In Greece, we have a great number of refugees, especially for those who are coming from war zones. And also as a volunteer to children with oncological hospital, children with special education needs. So after I got to, that the COVID pandemic and all these platforms that now these platforms that help us to reunite and connect with teachers from other countries, I got connected with teachers from Malawi and Kenya and Nigeria, so where children actually are facing many challenges there because of poverty, because of lack of infrastructure, because of the lack of school supplies. So I started designing projects which could actually help them, of course, first to promote quality education, inclusive education for all, even to these children, and secondly, to help them, if it's possible, even financially. As a global educator, they started with this international project. They had a great success. We managed to take sponsorships and funds for these children. And since then, I'm giving every day a lot of trainings and delivering many lectures and many workshops in universities, education institutions all around the world. So this has, has become an integral part of my daily life. I'm meaning every day I'm giving 3-4 lectures. So the national speaker, and this fulfills me because I'm not getting paid for this. Everything is volunteering, humanitarian, but it fulfills me, and it gives me great pleasure to share my knowledge, to share my expertise. The universities, and especially to younger children, we're conducting virtually some experiments to children in some schools in India and in Kenya. So it's amazing.
Great. So, Miss, now tell me that can you describe your role as an ICT teacher trainer?
Yes, this started actually from Greece. Um, and then I had to conduct some workshops and seminars for teachers about how to use ICT tools, interactive whiteboards or learning management systems, educational software in order to improve classroom instruction. So this has to do with skill development, so actually help teachers develop core ICT skills, including all these digital presentations, internet research tools. We train teachers in also more advanced tools such as coding platforms, data analysis tools, multimedia production software. And at the same time, ICT goes along with pedagogical integration because, yes, we train teachers in technical skills, but also the most important challenge is how to integrate all these tools into the pedagogy. So this might involve teaching strategies for creating digital lesson plans or using collaborative platforms for student projects or employing gamification techniques to engage learners. And of course, there was a period where I also got involved in IT, ICT curriculum, because we had to update, design some school curriculum to include digital skills and ICT-related content. So this period, I had to develop also some resources, such as e-learning modules, instructional videos, and guides, actually tutorials that teachers can use to continue learning about ICT tools independently. So an ICT trainer actually is a mentor, a coach, whether this is one-to-one support, whether it's has to do how to encourage and give confidence, especially to teachers or students who are coming from a low socioeconomic background. But you know, as an ICT trainer, um, you need to it's not easy because I need to be always updated, stay updated with the new trends. Technology always changes, so I'm responsible for exploring with experimenting with new ICT tools to define, for example, which are the most suitable for different educational content. And of course, at the same time, be aware of cybersecurity, e-safety, support of digital literacy among students, but at the same time, be aware and with all these concerns of online safety, with data privacy, with cyberbullying, and all these things that we know. So all these things, learning management systems, all these platforms, how to use, for example, Google Classroom, Moodle, or Microsoft Teams to manage assignments, to track student progress, to facilitate communication between teachers, students, and parents. All this interactive technology, the assessment tools, evaluation, how to evaluate these tools. This is not easy. We don't have enough global frameworks. And introduce at the same time these tools that could promote collaboration, because we should not be solitary users of technology. We should include also teams and groups that promote collaboration even through this learning management system. And of course, I faced the case of resource limitations, and because there are many infrastructures, many schools here that do not have the necessary technological infrastructure.
Okay, great. So now, ma'am, tell me that what topics did you cover, like in your international as an international speaker? So what topics do you cover?
Yes, usually everything has to do with education. That could be, first of all, of course, STEM education, environmental education, environmental awareness, or how we can combine STEM education with sustainability issues. Everything has to do with women empowerment. So it can be, for example, girls in STEM, or girls or women in entrepreneurship. Another topic is related with peace, because I'm a global peace ambassador. Today also I'm invited in as a guest of honor in the Global Peace Summit. And also, as I mentioned before, we have refugees here in Greece. We try to help them be integrated from war zones, here in Greece in the school system. Issues of refugees and migrants is another part of my presentation. And many lectures on technology, artificial intelligence in education, what are the AI tools that we can use, for example, in research, machine learning, deep learning, a wide spectrum of, a wide range of topics related to technology. So mostly education and technology issues. These are my topics.
Great, wonderful. So, Miss, now tell me that what is your research focus on cognitive neurosciences?
Yes, I forgot to mention this topic also, because neuroeducation is a huge part of my life. My main research area is this. Neuroeducation, when we talk about neuroeducation, is actually in a interdisciplinary field that combines insights from neuroscience, psychology, and education to improve training and learning processes. So it seeks to understand how the brain learns and how educators can use that knowledge to enhance educational outcomes. So what my research on this has to do with what we call brain-based strategies, how brain functions, what happens when we learn something, what are the processes that take place in our brain, what are the regions that are activated during learning. And because why this is important and why neuroeducation studies are important, because it helps educators understand how students process information and which teaching methods align with natural brain function. How we can improve learning processes like memory or attention or problem solving or emotional regulation. So neuroeducation actually recognizes the importance of emotions in learning, emotional states, like stress, for example, or motivation, can either hinder or enhance cognitive performance. And this field also emphasizes social emotional learning, which includes teaching students emotional regulation, empathy, and all these components of what we call emotional intelligence. Neuroeducation also helps increase attention and engagement, insights into how attention works in the brain. You know, all the recent studies say that nowadays our attention is so much distracted, we cannot stay focused for more than 2-3 minutes. And also our memory is becoming less stronger in comparison to the past. So we need these brain-based strategies in order to help our memory, our attention, especially young children now are so much distracted from tablets and mobile. They can focus on the classroom, they can focus on what a teacher teaches. And one of the most important principles of neuroscience is neuroplasticity. It's this ability of the brain to change and adapt in response to learning. And this concept encourages a growth mindset where educators focus on the belief that intelligence and abilities can be developed through effort and practice. So all this research and the application of neuroeducation, of course, can take place in the curriculum design, so modernization of the curriculum using neuroeducation insights. Why? Because curricula can align now with how the brain learns best, incorporating, for example, multi-sensory experiences, project-based learning, scaffolded instruction, implementing research-backed techniques such as active learning, metacognition to improve student outcomes, learning disabilities. I forgot to say this is most important, that cognitive neuroscience help us handle more effectively children with special education needs, with disabilities like dyslexia, like autism, so we can develop more effective interventions. And this means that the importance of neuroeducation is that it bridges actually science and practice, it supports inclusive education and improves cognitive health.
Okay, miss. So you are also involved in Greek Ministry of Education. So how did you get involved in it?
Yes, after the awards that I mentioned before, I I was appointed in secondary education in 29, and then I moved to primary education, and then after the awards, I moved to as the teacher in the Greek Ministry of Education. There it was amazing. I wanted to promote vision. It was to promote STEM education in Greek schools. So I started by designing some circularies, by inviting all the Greek schools to get involved, to get engaged in innovative actions, innovative activities and school projects. And I asked them to share with the Greek Ministry of Education their work and upload their work on our website, which is called Educate. And after this, I launched very, innovative program. I launched a STEM workshop inside the Greek Ministry of Education, where students of primary secondary education are visiting means installation, and they had the chance to experiment, with different materials. We are doing a physics experiment, chemistry experiments, astronomy experiments, and their children actually are feeling very, very thrilled and feel very enthusiastic. And apart from this, I'm handling some website in the Greek Ministry because for many years I was in the Directorate of Educational Technology and Innovation. So I actually the reason why I got involved in the Greek Ministry of Education has to do with STEM and how I want to promote the STEM methodology and philosophy in the Greek schools. This is the main reason.
Okay. So how long you have been working with this education system?
I've been in education for over 25 years. I'm also started as French language teacher because my first degree is about the French language. So I have been teaching French for many years. And then the big chapter of STEM started. So it's more than 25 years. And in the ministry, I am since 2017 till now in the Greek Ministry of Education.
Okay, miss. So you are a speaker, you are a teacher, and you are a researcher also. So how do you manage your time and balance your roles as an these like teacher and researcher and speaker?
No, of course, it's not easy because this is related with the time management. And I have a problem with time management. There are many times that I don't even manage to sleep, or sleep only 2 hours. Balancing these roles of teacher researchers is, of course, very, very challenging and difficult, but it's also highly rewarding as both roles can complement and enhance each other. So some strategies actually to manage and balance these roles is integrate teaching and research. For example, if we incorporate our research into our teaching by embedding the research process into course activities, this can include teaching students how to critically, for example, read the research papers, how to engage in small research projects or analyze data. If we use our research in the classroom, this gives students real-world examples and helps you stay connected to your research while teaching. Or apply research-based teaching methods in the classroom, especially those related to cognitive science, with education theory or discipline. And by doing so, not only I am improving our teaching, but also I'm staying actively engaged in the latest developments in both fields. Now, for time management, for me, I admit it's very difficult, but this needs actually prioritization to set clear boundaries, dedicate specific blocks of time to each role. For example, I can reserve morning for research or afternoon for teaching related tasks. This is one, for example, one case, but this needs efficient planning, use time blocking techniques to schedule research, class preparation, grading, meetings, identify priorities. Because, of course, I'm working at the Greek Ministry of Education, but I'm also working as a teacher with Greek Aerospace Company. So I have a role first in the Greek Ministry, then in other organizations. And apart from this, a third role is a researcher. So identify priorities and try to reflect on teaching and research synergies. How to try to seek or sometimes institutional support, and try to use research in order to stay current in our field, because continuous learning or lifelong learning, engaging in research keep me to be updated with the latest advancement in my field. So that's why I attend conferences, seminars, workshops that cover both teaching and research, and this helped me grow in both areas and helps me discover different strategies and research methodologies that benefit both roles. So I think that being a teacher and a researcher at the same time is amazing because you can apply your research results in your teaching, and but at the same time, this requires intentional planning, time management, I said before, and creativity. So the synergy between teaching and research will not only enrich my work, but also enhances the student experience and advances my field of study.
Okay, so it's my last question with you. That can you share some examples of your work as an like global peace ambassador, and what are your key strategies for promoting peace through education?
Yes, yes. Okay. First, here in Greece, I have been a part of many organizations and campaigns about peace. And I'm also, as a global educator, I designed and implement a project which is called Gender-Based Violence, Why Peace is a Much Better Option. And it was inspired by women in Nigeria. It was implemented in public school in Nigeria, where women are getting killed. Um, more and more women are become victim of gender-based violence there. So I had a friend from Nigeria who got killed by her boyfriend. So I was shocked. And then I started making research about what is happening with women there in Nigeria. And I found out that there is a lot of violence, and especially at the ages of school ages. So I wanted to help these students there. I decided signed a program which were addressed to teenage classes. Why? Because at this age, students are starting to form, their behavior, their attitude. So they started to form also their violent behavior. So in this project, I integrated neuroscience, neuroeducation that I mentioned before. I showed them some experiences, what happens to our body when it receives violence. So students were shocked because they have seen scientific facts what is happening. So brain-based strategies about how to feel empathy, how to create the mechanism for defense, everything that has to do with how our brain works when it receives violence. Apart from this, I integrated a lot of hands-on activities, mainly role plays. Role plays in theater is very important because it helps the student liberate their potential, their feelings, and students had the opportunity to feel free. And during this role playing, they expressed their experiences. When they received, for example, violence, they had experiences of cyberbullying or anything like this. So role playing, the simulations helped a lot of these children during this project. Other humanitarian projects that promote positive peace, because we have also negative peace. Negative peace has to do with children. I had, for example, children who don't have water to drink or they don't have food to eat. So this project I mentioned before about water awareness was implemented in Malawi. Food was implemented in India. This piece was implemented in Nigeria. And all this project aims to improve the quality of life of these children and promote positive, I mentioned before. So now, if as a global educator here in Greece, there are so many strategies about peace education. First of all, you should first you start from the national projects. Why the national projects? Because you can collaborate with students from other countries. So my students can learn more about students of other countries, and this way how peace is developed because children become more tolerant towards cultural differences. They learn to respect religious differences, others' identities. They learn how to be, more respectful. So first you start from international projects, collaborative projects. You can use arts, for example. You can show some videos of dance, for example, of Indian students or the dance of Greek students and make a comparison. You can organize together volunteering campaigns about environment, for example, for climate change. For instance, we have on the International Tree Plantation Day, my students perform some activities about tree plantation, and they show their work to other, students who are did the same on the tree plantation day. So they're very peaceful activities, and of course, cultivate all this behavior of how it's important to be tolerant, I said before, to accept the differences. Now, for example, I mentioned the case of war between Russia and Ukraine. We had a lot of refugees from Ukraine, students who came in Greece. So these students need a special treatment. What I mean, not only to be integrated in the educational system, but I mean psychological treatment, mental health. These children, the children who suffer from war, have so many traumas, psychological traumas, that they need years to overcome all these problems. And studies say that students who were in war zones, for example, in Gaza, who are, who are experience many years of war, they have a chronic stress, chronic trauma, they will not be able, never be able to have the same academic performances with other children. So these children who are suffering from these work conditions need mental health treatments. And this is why mental health workshops are important, not only for these children, but in general, students nowadays, children are becoming more and more difficult. Every teacher can say this. Children nowadays are not the same like it was in the past, in my period when I was a child, because they are becoming more and more wild, because of this complex world of technology that they are living, because of parents' problem. Parents are not so, responsible towards their children. Parents are responsible for this condition. And mental health is something that should be integrated in the curriculum, because teachers are not trained as psychologists or advisors. So we have more and more challenges nowadays. In order to bring peace in our classroom, I'm telling you, here in Greece, the violence is becoming more and more alarming as a situation. Every day we have children who fight each other. Yesterday we had a student who tried to beat the principal, the school principal. The principal was transferred in the hospital. We have so many cases of violence, extreme violence. The last years, the last 2 years, especially after the COVID pandemic, children are becoming more and more violent. There are so many reasons about this. We can organize a whole webinar about this, but the most important reason, I think, is technology, is the ignorance of parents, is all this philosophy that is based on the violence which is promoted by media. If you think about all these video games, about the films, all these films and all these video games that children are watching, promote only violence, nothing peaceful. So if all the stimuli that students are getting are based on violence, what we can do as educators, a little thing to do. However, I'm mentioning some strategies, and from my side, I will continue to write this project on the national peace. Now we have the case of Israel and Palestine, and all this war that is still continuing. And let's see.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for being here. And in the last of this interview, any message that you want to give our audience who is watching this interview, so you will give.
My message would be about violence, and this is what I said before: try to be compassionate towards each other, because we need each other. Neuroscientists say that we are evolve as human beings thanks to others. We need human interaction because the human brain is social. This is what neuroeducation say. Human brain is social. We need others to interact. We need others to evolve and to grow. We can't grow alone without others. That's why we need to be compassionate, to be helpful to others, tolerant towards any differences, religious or political or any other gender difference. It's the only way that this society can thrive, only through peace. And you know that the peace lies within. First, we need to find the peace within us, inside us, and then we can be peaceful to others. So this starts from ourselves. Start working on yourself and your growth mindset.
Okay, thank you so very much, Ms. Rania Lampou, that you will accept my invite and you will be here in my studio. And it's like a pleasure to having you in my studio. I will I like this interview very much, and I enjoyed this interview very much. Hope so. You will also like this interview and enjoy this interview. And yes, thank you so very much for being here. And thanks to the audience who are watching this interview later and now. So, thanks for, again, thank you very much, Ms. Rania Lampu, for here. And we will end this interview. So, yeah, take care of yourself
Thank you.
and Allah
Thank you
Hafiz.
so much for the kind invitation. Thank you.
Thank you.